guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'll be taking you to work with me, and I'm so excited to have you here with me today. But while you're here guys, please remember to like this video, comment, share, subscribe, and turn your post notification bell on so once I post a video you will be notified. And today we'll be focusing on this Hyundai Creta. We'll be preparing and spraying the bonnet and the two fenders, so let's get right into it. Alright, so here I'll be priming this bonnet before we work on the fenders, because the fenders, they have some body work to do on them and it's not done as yet. So we'll be focusing on the bonnet now. So what I'm doing here, I'm priming this bonnet, as you can see, and I'm using a Roberta primer. It's one of the best primers on the market, guys, trust me. I've used many primers, but this is the best. It dries quickly, it does not solvent pop, it's just awesome. And I'll be giving it 3 coats of primer. And also guys, as you can see, there was minimal body work done on this bonnet. It's a new panel, so there was not much work to be done on it, and it was 320 and the 600 for it to be primed, meaning that I used a 320 sanding paper and a 600 sanding paper to get it to where it was so it could be primed. And of course guys, we're gonna allow the flash time between each coat before we apply another coat, and this did get its required flash time, so I'm applying my second coat now. Alright guys, so there it is, it's primed and all. So what we'll be doing now, we'll be allowing it to dry, and after it's dry we'll be using a 320 sanding disc, a 600 and an 800 sanding disc to get it cut leveled for it to be sprayed. Alright guys, it's now time to cut the primer, and we'll be starting off by using this 3M dry guide coat. Now as it says, it's a guide coat, so what it does is guides us while cutting, so we can see any imperfections, highs or lows, and ensure that we get a level cut. And it's a black powdery substance, and we put it on. When you put it on, you apply it in circles. So then we're going to use this 320 sanding disc. So we will use it before we use the 600 disc to cut down the primer to a certain level, and we'll be using it on this 3M orbit sander. Yeah. So we're ready to get sanding. I'm just adjusting this. So if you see this area, you realize it has what we call orange peels. I'm gonna sand it until I get rid of those orange peels. And don't watch the lights, guys. I'm definitely gonna cover my lights before I go to that side. So don't watch that right now. I'm gonna cover my lights. Because you gotta protect the lights. You realize I'm keeping it away from the seam here. You don't want to cut down in it. So you realize I'm not running the sander on the seam. You don't want to cut down it. And of course, guys, remember the guide code too. You realize that right here, it's no longer black, because you realize, and it's smooth now. It's not like here where you see the orange peels. So yeah, so this is at a good level now, where we can use the 600 disc on it, but we're gonna 320 the rest of it before we get there. We don't always use the sanding disc, guys. Sometimes we use the sanding paper, because it also comes in the paper. You use your hand. Yes, so the job is not always this easy. Yes, sometimes we have to use the paper. This is an example of the sandpaper 320. Yeah, so we'll use this on a sanding block. Let me get a sanding block, show you like what I would use it on. This is the process with the hand, guys. So I'll be using this tape to mask off the light so it doesn't get scratches from the sandpaper. Alright, so we're through, and here's what it looks like when we use a 320 sanding disc or sanding paper on the panel. Alright guys, so in my hand I have an 80 grit purple square. It is used to sand body filler, so we'll be using it on the left fender to sand the body filler that's on it to get it ready for priming, then spraying. So we want to get the filler level in line with the panel, get the panel back to its original shape so we can go and move along to priming, then spraying. And we'll be using 80 grit, 180 grit, then 320 grit to complete this process. guys, so now we're gonna move ahead and use the 180 grit sanding paper, sanding disc, same difference. And what we'll be using it to do is get rid of the 80 grit scratches. You see those scratches, those deep scratches, that those are from the 80 grit. So we have to get rid of them because you don't want, when you're spraying, you'll have these scratches showing up in your paint. So we're gonna go ahead, get them out. Then we're gonna use the 320, get rid of the 180 sand scratches, and then we'll use the 600 grit on the rest of the panel also, just to flat it down, and then we'll prime. And here are the results after we 80, 180, 320, and 600. Now we're gonna go ahead and prime. We masked the area off, and now we're ready to prime. And you can see me cleaning the area. You always have to ensure that your area is clean and free of dust and debris. So let's go ahead and prime. Guys, now the moment we've all been waiting for, the moment to spray. So the vehicle was 320, 600, 800. It was masked off and it was degreased, and now it's time to spray. And first I'll be putting on the body up color. After the body up color mean, you know, we just use that color to cover all the primer spots. And of course, guys, after we've covered all the areas and we've put enough color on the vehicle, we'll be adding our clear coats. And I hope you're not in the spray booth without your respirators, guys. It is very important to wear your safety gears. So watch along. There we go, guys, sprayed and ready to go. And guys, please remember, liking this video costs nothing. Turning your post notification bell on makes my channel recommendable. Commenting gives me motivation, and sharing this video introduces others to my page. So don't be afraid to do any of those. And thank you so much for watching, guys. Until next time.